The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello and a big welcome to our second Relevance session of the day. From insights to action, the delivery of true personalisation. So, we've just heard from Head of Strategic Services at Fresh Relevance, Justice Sayman, as he's discussed the importance of social proof in real-time marketing. And now I'd like to give a big welcome to our second speaker of the day, who is Matt Diamond, one of our consultants at BlueVenn. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Jen. Hi, everyone.
This is a really vital session of the day as it brings together all of the exciting and creative strategic ideas that we've been talking about, and then shows how we put all of that into action. We'll be showing you firsthand how our clients utilise our software to connect with our customers on a one-to-one basis, and how we use data to achieve full personalisation of both web and email content, which you'd be surprised to know that only about 4 in 10 marketers are actually doing, which is crazy stuff.
Definitely.
So again, for like the first session, if you'd like to ask questions, please do so. We'll get to those at the end of the session, and any that we don't cover will be answered via email. So Matt, I know you're keen to get started, so should we dive straight in?
Thanks, Jen, and hi again, everybody. So just before we dive too deep into today's presentation, I wanted to share a quick statistic with you. So according to recent research, 72% of marketers feel that personalization is the main way that they can improve the experience for their customers. Now, for some context, the next highest method of improving the customer experience was identified as making the website more engaging, and according to the same research, was seen as 14% less of a priority when compared to personalization. So I wanted to start off today by asking each of you on this webinar if this statistic is something that's reflected in your business and your business's priorities. So now we understand the desire to personalize the customer experience, and we can see that 3/4 of businesses have identified personalization as a priority. I wanted to pose a second question. What are the biggest challenges or barriers to personalization? Why is it not something that's just happening already? So from my experience, I'd say there are 4 big challenges to overcome when putting personalization into practice. And the first of those is collecting the right data. And again, this all starts with questions, such as, what data do I actually need to be able to personalize? Which system is that data held in? Who actually owns that system within the business? And how fresh is that data? And I come across these topics during my conversations with, I'd say, about 99% of businesses I discuss personalization with. And these conversations always end up returning to 1 or 2 root problems. Either there's too much data being captured, no way to sort the wheat from the chaff to gain any relevant insight, or no way to have a single view of the customer due to the required data being held in silo from other business systems and departments. I've even spoken to a few businesses who are suffering from both of these issues in conjunction with one another, creating a real headache for them and for their marketing strategies as they look to move their businesses forward. And another challenge I see regularly is around using data in the right way. So relying on traditional segmentation-based personalization alone just isn't enough nowadays. Taking a single data point from a disconnected siloed channel to decide basic personalization strategies will, in the majority of cases, fail to add relevance to the customer experience, and at worst, will deliver the wrong type of personalized brand experience, damaging the relationship between the customer and the business. And it's this fractured version of personalization that Blue Relevance is designed to address. By taking a single view of the customer, marketers are able to implement a fully coordinated personalization strategy across all customer touchpoints, and bring together the online and the offline experiences to create and manage a truly personalized omnichannel customer experience. And the key to delivering this is the ability to recognise the customer both as an individual, but also as a member of a defined customer segment that's been created using a number of relevant, pertinent data points. But it isn't enough to just personalise on an ad hoc basis with no planning. It needs to actually be done and delivered in the right way. So being upfront with your customers is where this begins. And being upfront with your customers about why they should actually share their PII or personally identifiable information with you will help you to identify the type of personalised experience that your customers value. Now, I've seen this done in a number of ways, and the most successful use cases are always part of a business's broader strategy to be completely transparent with their customers. Just remember the golden rule of personalization. Be overt with data collection and covert with personalization. By this, I mean be clear and open about your reasons for collecting and using customer data, while at the same time acknowledge that for the majority of customers, a personalized experience is the expected norm. So deliver a personalized brand experience as if it is the normal thing for your brand. Even if you are only just starting out on your personalization journey, you don't need to signpost every personalized experience you provide, as it's not a major point of differentiation in most verticals. But the biggest challenge that I see it's not about data or tactics, but it's about scale and it's about speed. Now, many personalization projects take too much time, and most personalization projects fail due to these time delays. And I'm not going to cover the minutiae of the risks and the issues a personalization project can encounter today on this webinar, but I do want to highlight that if a business is undergoing a lengthy project to be able to address a customer by their first name through a single channel, such as email, with no further personalization to the content of the strategy or the wider brand experience, it's not only too long from a time to value perspective, but it's lacking in additional value to both customer and business. So now we know what the biggest barriers are, let's look at how we can deliver on some of the ideas that Justice covered during his presentation. For anyone who missed it, I would highly recommend catching the recording though.
Yeah, thanks for mentioning that, Matt, actually. It is good to note that you will be able to catch up on all of the sessions during Relevance on demand. We'll be sending out recordings of each of the sessions by email within the next 48 hours or so.
Brilliant. So I think it's time to actually take a dive into BlueRelevance itself. So there are two elements to BlueRelevance. The first is focused on capturing web interaction and behavioral data through the use of first and second party cookies. And the great thing about capturing all of this behavioral data is that we can feed it back into BlueVenn and use it to power our insight and understanding of our customer base. The second element is focused on using the data captured to provide a real-time personalized experience for each individual customer across website, email, and any other HTML5 based device. So what we can see here is our example retail website. And this is the non-personalized version of our homepage. This is what a first-time visitor to the website would see, or an existing customer with a new browsing device would see exactly the same thing. Now you can see here that we have an image on the top right, Explore Nature, with a nice sunset in the background. And we'll be coming back to this image in a moment. So if we adopt the persona of an existing customer of our demonstration business here and quickly sign in to the actual website itself. What we will now see when we jump back to the home page is that the image I mentioned a moment ago has changed to display a different picture and a hashtag name. Now this is all accomplished by the customer, in this case Claire, authenticating. But if I actually close this particular browser window and then reopen it again as well. What you'll see here is that the website is able to still apply that same personalization. And this is down to the placement of a first-party cookie on my browsing device, which is allowing the website to identify me and keep personalizing content according to what the business knows about me, or in this case, Claire. Now, all of this is made possible by BlueRelevance. So let's quickly load up the interface itself and see what else we can do. So here we are in BlueRelevance, and this is our real-time home screen dashboard, which is tracking activity right across our website and allowing us to drill down in real time and see the detail behind the numbers. So here we can actually see our current sessions and who's actually on our website here. And we can take this a little deeper as well, just by opening up these particular browsers. And if I scroll down through the person history here and open up one of the particular events or one of the signals, what we can see here is that we really are capturing a highly granular set of data, including things such as our browsing session details, device IDs, device type, geolocation. And the great thing is, we're able to capture this rich data stream by embedding a single line of JavaScript code into the header of our website. And the great thing here for IT teams is that this doesn't require a complex tagging project, meaning that BlueRelevance can be up and running in a very short space of time. And as I mentioned, we can tie all of this behavioral data back to an individual using PII, or personally identifiable information, once that individual customer has authenticated. And we can do this using a number of different methods, including cookies, signups, logins, and click-throughs. So with BlueRelevance, we're using the idea of slots or windows on your website to control which areas can be personalized. Your website is your digital storefront. What BlueRelevance is enabling you to do is to change what appears in that window in reaction to each customer who is looking in through that window. Essentially, you're visual merchandising your entire website to suit the interests, tastes, and needs of each and every individual browser based upon what we as a business know about them. And you can do this for things such as products for you. You can be changing things such as the best sellers that appear on the actual homepage itself, or any of the other content right across the website. So with all the real-time insight being captured, we can control which slot or window is being personalized with what content or smart block. And we can deploy slots and smart blocks onto any website, email creative, or any other HTML5 based system. It's also possible to embed unique tracking codes into a smart block, enabling the use of attribution to measure the value of that individual smart block. So here we can take a look at smart blocks in a little bit more detail. But first, let's start with the actual slots and where we can find them. And this is the area of the platform that we can actually define which slots we want to use and where we're actually going to choose to deploy them across email, website, and anywhere else that we want to use them. And if we take a look at smart blocks, we have a vast variety that we can use to employ almost any personalization tactic that we are looking to execute against. So we can use things such as recommendations, and we can do this in a number of different ways. So we can look at the different tactics we want to use, and we can build recommendation smart blocks based upon templates that already exist within BlueRelevance itself, or we can build those using the templates just as a basis for our particular recommendations that we're looking to surface. And as Justice mentioned earlier on, we can also combine things such as reviews into our recommendations and leverage the power of user-generated content. And many of the businesses that I've worked with are actually doing just that. You can also choose to look at website banners as well. And we can also see directly within the banners and all of the different smart blocks that we have within BlueRelevance that we can control not only the granularity of that smart block, so all of the different properties as well, But we can choose to actually look at previews. So we could look at exactly what we're going to find on the website itself. Excuse my typing. And we can get that into a preview there as well. One of the other great things that we can do is we can choose to use coupons. Now, coupons themselves, again, we can very quickly and very easily create them and edit what we can see. But as anyone who's tried using coupons knows, they can be a real pain when we're trying to understand the attribution of them and how they're actually used. So by being able to actually configure expiry dates and upload coupon codes as well, we can use both unique codes and generic codes. And they can be used to track usage and redemption at campaign level or at individual level, so we can really understand how they're being used right across our particular customer base. We can start to use countdown timers as well, so we can start to add things such as sales starting, sales finishing. We could even add in things like countdown to GDPR if we're looking to do that as well. We can utilize web crops. So lots of companies use this to allow them to add their hero imagery, blog posts, or other regularly updated content to email creatives, saving time for their design teams by removing the need for the creation of duplicate content and ensuring the delivery of consistent brand imagery, content, and that overall experience across all channels. You can use popovers as well with a website to help with the capture of PII to prevent browse and cart abandonments. And there's also the ability to configure custom smart blocks as well. So if you think of something that isn't covered by any of the other sort of tactics or templates contained within Blue Relevance, you can very easily create those as well. And finally, to go back to Justice's point, we can also use social media. So in this case, we could use Twitter here. And we can filter Twitter feeds based upon the hashtags. So we could say I only want to surface particular posts that contain a particular hashtag. And we can do exactly the same thing for Instagram as well. Now, creating smart blocks and devising tactics is great. But coming back to my earlier point about speed of deployment, how do we get all of this content and all of these brilliant pieces of personalization up onto our website and actually begin our personalization journey? Well, for anyone who's familiar with using BlueVenn, this can all be done in a very, very similar drag and drop way. So we can do this using the website editor. We can define the slots and the smart blocks that are able to appear on our website. And we can publish that content in a really, really quick, highly visual, code-free way and remove any reliance on internal or external web development or IT resource. Many businesses use this element of the solution to be able to balance the priorities of marketing and merchandising in a really quick and easy way without having to add new code to the website. Now, we spoke about data earlier on as well, and the integration between Blue Relevance and BlueVenn is controlled through something that we call the data fire hose. Now, this fire hose is bringing in all of the granular events-based and behavioral data back into BlueVenn to allow us to further segment and target our customers, enabling us to deliver that highly personalized omnichannel customer experience that we're all aiming for. And due to the volume of data, it's possible to actually throttle the fire hose so the businesses are not overloaded with information. And this is allowing marketing activity to be focused using the most relevant points of customer interaction. So when we're using BlueVenn alongside Blue Relevance, we can actually define both slots and smart blocks as part of a real-time decision tree. And that decision tree is based upon real-time data from right across all of our different business systems. And this is relevant for both audiences and for individuals. And you can see here that I can actually set not only the target location, so the current slot, but I can also configure which smart block I want to use directly within the solution. And then I can integrate that personalization directly into the next part of my customer journey. In this case, I actually want to be sending out an email from directly within BlueVenn itself. So I know that we're getting a little bit pushed for time, so I'm going to hand back over to Jen, and I see we've got quite a few questions that have come in, and we'll look to get some answers for those for you.
Great, yeah, so the first question that came through was, what's the difference between personalisation and individualisation? Thank you for that question, really, really great.
That's actually a really good question. Yeah, good one to start with. So I would have said that individualisation can be broadly seen as a more focused level of personalisation aimed at enhancing the customer experience, but on a far more individual one-to-one level, as the name implies. I'd also say individualisation is the next step in the personalisation journey. So after you've implemented the first stage, you've overcome all of the challenges that I mentioned during the presentation, that's when I would start advising to look at individualisation.
Great, thanks, Matt. And then the next question that came through was, as a business, how do we decide what to personalise? So what are the easiest quick wins?
That's another really good question, actually. So firstly, I would actually concentrate on deciding on the outcomes that you're looking to achieve as a business.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd look to actually understand the data that you already have, see how it's permissioned and what parts of the customer journey you could actually personalise using that data. And I think that really is what will form the basis of your quick wins. But in terms of a broader sort of personalisation picture across the business, I've been lucky enough to work with businesses who've chosen to adopt common tactics that is really specific to their vertical first, prior to sort of trying anything new or innovative. And many of these businesses did this as a way of, like I said, trialing personalisation, but having very, very clear industry benchmarks in mind. But I've also been lucky enough to work with a few businesses who, due to their size, structure, the fact that they've got really, really experienced team members on board, they've been able to start doing innovative things straight out of the box.
Great, thank you so much for sending that question over to us. We've got time for two more, so I'm just going to pick up on two that I've seen. If anyone else has any other questions, please do keep sending them over and we'll just answer them offline. So this one caught my eye. We don't have the resource in-house to manage a personalisation project, which I think is a very common problem. What would you suggest?
Okay, so before looking at resource, I would actually look at some of the things I mentioned earlier about understanding the data you have, its permissioning, and actually understanding what you're looking to achieve with a personalisation project.
Mm-hmm.
But saying that, if you do need help understanding what the possibilities are for your specific business's situation, or even if you have a clear idea of the outcomes but don't actually have the resource to do it yourselves, we have a network of partners and consultants who can actually assist with providing support for businesses in that situation and to really help with anyone who's looking to make personalisation a focus of their marketing efforts.
Great, thank you. And lastly, you mentioned a single customer view of the customer as being key to personalisation. How would you recommend achieving this?
Okay, so I would say using something like BlueVenn, it's a customer data platform, you'd actually be able to consolidate all of your customer data from all of your business systems into one single place. And this is allowing you to not only have a single golden record for each customer, but be able to actually better understand those customers, as well as being able to devise, manage, and control their entire omnichannel customer journey from within a single solution.
Perfect, thank you very much. That summarises the Q&A section of the webinar. Thank you so much, Matt, for presenting. If you want to learn more about Blue Relevance or book in a one-to-one demo, then please contact us on the details that you can see on our screen, and we're happy to organise that for you. So that just leaves me with saying a big thank you for joining us today, but don't go anywhere, because up next we've got a fascinating session which delves into the personalisation journey that Subaru have been on with us. So they've been a client for about 10 years or so, and we've had the pleasure of working with them to create a unified national marketing system for all Subaru car dealerships. So as you can imagine, this is a session that you will not want to miss. As a reminder, just to log into the next session, all you need to do is click on the registration link that will appear in your reminder email, which you should receive about 10 minutes before the next session. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. So we're going to sign out now, but we'll see you in just a couple of moments. Goodbye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.